Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. I realize this has got a lot of numbers to it, so I'm going to try to keep this as simple as I can because I know most of y'all are driving around in cars or listening while you run or work out or whatever the case may be. But I think that a lot of this is kind of important and it's a little bit telling, and I did a lot of research on it this morning, so I'll try to lay it out as succinctly as I can. LSU played behind the chains pretty much all night in College Station, even when things were going well. I cut this research off at the 3:44 mark in the fourth quarter. There were 3 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in the game. LSU was trailing by 50, and at that point, you have to throw it every time. So I didn't want to count those pass plays. So we stopped there. This is everything prior to 3 minutes and 44 seconds to go in the game. LSU had 30 first down snaps, 30 of them. On those 30 first down snaps, 20 of them, 2/3, went for 2 yards or worse, either a gain of less or an interception in one case. So 2/3 of your first down plays were for 2 yards or less. On those 30 first down snaps, you only ran the ball 8 times. So you're 22-8 pass to run on first down. That's pretty significant. And then when you look at the running plays, they're just ineffective. Only one of your 8 runs, one time, did you gain more than 3 yards. You had one 13-yard run. Every other run, all 7 of them, were for 2 yards or less. That's immediately putting yourself behind the chains when you try to run the ball. It doesn't matter if it's Caden Durham, if it's Josh Williams. Like, they just don't get any push against these good teams. And you look at the passing, and it's not exactly the model of efficiency snap to snap. LSU's got a good passing offense, and they threw for over 400 yards on Saturday. Now, they threw it 50 times, and you understand how that works, but still, there are plenty of offenses in the SEC that could throw it 50 times in Kyle Field and not throw for 400 yards. Like, they do move the ball, but you put yourself in such unadvantageous situations. It's just, listen to some of these numbers. You called pass plays on 22 first downs. One time you got sacked. The other 21, you threw it. Of the 21 throws that you made on first down, you only completed 9 of them. So you're hovering in the mid-40s as far as percentages goes. So if you look at that, you realize that you're in second or 8 and worse, 14 of your 22 pass plays on first down. That's 64% of the time on first down, you're at least at second and 8. And that's just a tough way to make a living. Now, LSU has kind of overcome this because still, when you look at what LSU's done offensively, they rank 4th in the SEC in points per game in league games at 30. And they've done that against the best run of defenses that anyone in the Southeastern Conference has played. When you look at conference games only, Ole Miss has the best scoring defense, number 1 in the league. Texas A&M is number 4 in scoring defense. South Carolina is number 5 in scoring defense, and Arkansas is number 6 in scoring defense. Your 4 games are against the top 6 in the league in scoring defense, and you're 4th in the league in scoring offense. Keep in mind, the rest of your schedule, Bama, 9th in the SEC. Florida, 11th in the SEC. Vanderbilt, 12th in the SEC. And Oklahoma, 14th in the SEC in scoring defense in league games. You're scoring 30 points per game, playing from behind the sticks. And you look at what LSU has done, even on Saturday, when you had all these numbers I laid out where you were behind the chains almost every time on first down, you still managed in this game to roll up a total of 429 yards and score 23 points with 3 missed field goals and a missed 2-point conversion. If you just kick the extra point and make 2 out of 3 field goals, that's 30 points on 429 yards on the road in the most hostile environment in college football this past weekend. That's not that bad. So they're not that far away from being a great offense. However, it would be ludicrous for me to sit here and suggest that they're going to figure something out with the ground game when you've looked at 4 of these 5 offensive linemen every single game for 2 years, and against elite fronts with pros, you haven't run the ball. Garrett Nussmeier has got to do a better job of taking care of the ball, but he is getting no help. None. Because you throw the ball far more often than you run it on first down. You put yourself behind the chains. You can't run the ball. He's got to do it all. Who's to say if you take his pass attempts down from 50 to 37 that he doesn't throw 3 picks? But you've got to drop back with defenses that know you're going to throw it and have him be perfect. He's got to be Superman. And it's fine to suggest that he's got to clean it up a little bit, but you also, in saying that, have to realize they're asking him to do everything. You ran the ball for 2 yards total in the final 3 quarters of the game. You've got to find a way to help your quarterback out. I think this is a fine illustration of it. On his first interception, you all know the play I'm talking about. I've referenced it twice in the first 2 segments. It's 3rd down and 2. They snap it to him. He gets a little bit of a rush off the offensive left side. He peels out. He's running towards the sideline. He tries to force it down the field. What if you could run the ball for 2 yards on 3rd and 2? But it would be unreasonable for LSU's coaching staff to believe they could do that when you realize that those 2 yards that you have to get on 3rd and 2 is all you ran for in 3 quarters total. So why would you call a run? They can't execute it properly enough. At this point, you understand that LSU, as a team, as an offensive line, are not great in run blocking. And I just don't know if that's going to change. And Pro Football Focus backs all that up. I wrote a story on LouisianaSports.net right now that's got all of that data. And LSU's run blocking grades, and most of the pass blocking grades are bad. We'll get into it in the second hour. But you're just not very good at that. So it feels like, to kind of put a bow on this entire segment, that this imbalance is just going to kind of be who you are. You can try to get Caden Durham involved, and yes, these defenses that you're going to see later are worse. And maybe you can get that ground game going against them the way you did against Arkansas and South Carolina. Maybe so. But as of 3 days ago, we were all sitting here. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was. Maybe you were. Maybe you weren't. Try to be as literal as I can when I say this. We're thinking about winning the conference championship, getting into the college football playoff, making a run. Because you look around and you don't really see dominant teams week in, week out in college football. You've got a lot of teams in the SEC that are struggling with teams that you wouldn't figure they were going to struggle with. Why not LSU? Got a good quarterback, won a big game against Ole Miss, dominated Arkansas. And it feels like if you run up against another team that's got pros up front, Texas, Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Bama in 2 weeks, does it feel like you're going to be able to run the ball against those teams? I think LSU will probably run it on Florida. Probably run it on Vanderbilt. But can you run it in the games that really matter? And we got a resounding answer on Saturday. And on the flip side, A&M did it. I don't know if Marcel Reed can throw it or not. I have no idea. We saw him throw it twice. But if you can just run the ball for 6, 7, 8 yards a pop, 10 yards a pop, why would you need to? It just is what LSU's identity is. And I spoke multiple times this year and wrote columns for LouisianaSports.net after South Carolina and after Arkansas that LSU's developing a little bit more versatility. But you've got to make that stand up when you play the biggest games on your schedule. And not only was LSU like kind of ineffective running the ball, it was a disaster and they had to abandon it. Like, that's worst case scenario. And that's how this whole thing played out. I just don't know if that's fixable over the next 4 weeks. feels like this is kind of what you are. And unfortunately, that means you're going to put almost everything on Garrett Nussmeier, which is a lot to ask of a quarterback in his first year as a starting quarterback in college football. And unfortunately, on Saturday night, he just wasn't able to do the things that he needed to do because you put too much on his plate. If you want to check out some of those numbers that I was talking about there and look at how LSU is handling things on first down, go check it out over at louisianasports.net. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.